I just wanted to take, sorry about the noise, a quick video to show you how my bark tan rabbits and raccoon are coming along. I'm bark tanning these in blackberry, Himalayan blackberry, because it is full of tannins, it's invasive, and it's like astoundingly abundant. Like I have no problem harvesting a lot of it, and I will not have any detriment to the plant populations by harvesting it like all the time, every day, which is basically what I'm doing now. I collect like 3 5-gallon bucketfuls of blackberry like every day. The golf course down the street should probably be paying me to be doing their landscaping. But anyway, so I'll start with the bunnies. These guys have been, they're probably actually about done. They've been in this bark tea for about a week, and I've changed the tea a few times to keep it really, really strong. And I also have scudded them once. Whoa. So here's the fur side. I used a dark fur because the blackberry has a very orangey hue, and it will turn light fur orange, which I learned the hard way from tanning a skunk. So here is the skin side. It's turning into leather. It's like the miracle of alchemy, and even though every time I do it, I'm like, this is what's gonna happen. When it happens, I'm like, whoa, that's wild. So yeah, it's looking good. Color's nice and dark. There's still obviously some membrane in there, which I'm probably just not gonna mess with, because even though this skin is so much nicer and thicker now that it's becoming leather, it's still thin. So I can scud it. Scudding is when you take a dullish tool and you would put this back on your beam, your PVC pipe, if you don't have a proper beam, and you push the tannins out. I mean, you're pushing the bark tea out, but you're also pushing the tannins in. Apparently, it's science. I don't know, science. But yeah, so you can scud. Maybe you don't have to. There's different opinions about that. I did do it once. Yeah, and so this is gonna be rabbit leather, and then, you know, this looks like a wet rabbit, and when it's dry, it'll be nice, I hope. So then my next steps, I'm gonna give it a little bit longer, but my next steps will be to let it dry out to like this like perfect drying part, and then I will use some tallow and soften it, and then I'll work it soft. So it's a different softening process than an oil or fat tan, but I guess it still needs to be done because I'm going to do it. And then with bark tanning, you don't have to smoke it at the end, which is something that I haven't talked about at all. I'll talk about that in a different video, and then I'll tell you a story about how one time when I was smoking some really pretty raccoon hides, the whole thing caught fire and I almost burned down the forest. Okay, so this is my raccoon. So you guys may have seen the pictures of this raccoon. He was pretty far gone, and actually he's still a little stinky in my bark tea. However, you know, I skinned him and I fleshed him, wet salted him, and then fleshed him the next day and made a really strong bark tea. And so I've just been keeping him in like extremely strong bark teas, and yeah, he's coming along really nicely. There's his face, and so far, whew, still got some smells though. So far the white fur is staying pretty white. As you can see, it hasn't turned orange yet. I don't really know what's gonna happen. His little whiskers are still white. Maybe that's gonna turn kind of an orangey color, and maybe it won't. I'm not really sure, because he's only been in the tea for a few days, but even still, it's got some nice color and lots of membrane on there still. I did my very best. Raccoons are no joke. They have very thick skin, they're hella fatty, they're super oily, and they take a lot of like arm work to get all of this membrane off. So I'm gonna scud him today. I'm working on a new batch of bark tea, and I'll maybe take a picture of my setup. He's got like a little booger. yeah, so I'm gonna scud him and take off a little bit more of this membrane if I can, and then I'm just gonna keep on the really, really, really strong bark tees to keep this fur in. And you know, he definitely had some slip in fur. We couldn't salvage the tail or the back legs because there was so much fur falling out, but yeah, and there actually is a little bit of slippage still happening down here, so I'm just not gonna mess with it, and hopefully you can see right there, this is what it looks like when the fur starts to slip. Then you can see that it's lighter where the fur wants to come away. That's where it hasn't been tanned. You can see that. Boo. Maybe I'll just, that's gross. So I'm just gonna I'm not gonna pull that out, and hopefully it'll grab it. But most of this guy is in good shape. So yeah, so bark tea, I'm married to bark tea now. I'm the wife of bark tea. It's all I'm ever gonna do for the rest of my goddamn life. But yeah, so anyway, that's where I'm at with my bunny and my raccoon leather. Yeah, once they're all done, I'll take another video and show you guys how they came out. All right, bye.